Are you looking for back to school tips for what looks to be like another crazy school year? Well, then you're in luck. I have 5 back to school tips for your dyslexic. My name is Kathleen, by the way, and I'm a dyslexic here to help other dyslexics and their parents. Can you believe it's time to start another school year? I'm still trying to figure out where summer went. But it is. It's time to start another school year. And getting a school year started can be very difficult for anybody, especially a dyslexic, because we're pushing into the unknown. We're starting something new. We are experimenting with things. So today I have 5 easy tips to help transition back to school. So tip number 1 is get organized. Go ahead and buy all the recommended supplies that the school puts out or the teacher puts out. And I'm also going to say, if your budget allows for it, go ahead and buy extra supplies like markers and crayons, because right now is the best price for school supplies that they will be all year, and you can put them away and pull them out when you need them. I know that I stock up because my budget allows for it, and it just saves me so much money in the long run because I have these supplies and I'm not paying full price throughout the year. I'm buying them at the back to school price. One of the reasons that we need to organize things for dyslexics is dyslexics, I know for myself, struggle with certain executive functions. And when we come up with an organization system for them, it really, really helps. So this would be, before school starts, finding a place for all of those new supplies at the house, finding a place for all of the extra supplies if that's out of sight, out of mind, and also like a place to put their homework, a place to put their backpack, a place to put everything. So once you have a designated place for every single thing, it becomes easier to organize and it becomes easier for a dyslexic. So go ahead and get started organizing. Tip number 2 is start creating next year's schedule. Every year, the schedule is going to look a little different. Figure out when school starts. Figure out when school is over. Figure out all those after school activities that they're going to participate in. If they're going to have after school tutoring, when is that going to happen? Figure out the schedule before the school year starts. This makes it so much easier on you, and it makes it so much easier on your child because they know exactly what to expect. This is the time I'm going to have to go to bed. This is the time I'm going to have to wake up. This is my morning routine. This is when we're going to leave for school. This is when I'm going to get to school. This is how long my day is. This is when I'm going to get to go home. And then on this day, I'm going to go to soccer practice. On this day, I'm going to meet with my tutor. On this day, I'm going to get to go to extra art class. Whatever it is, go ahead and establish that schedule early so it is set in stone and everybody's ready to go. My next tip definitely applies to dyslexics. So tip number 3 is review their accommodations. Review the accommodations that are in place for you and also your child. This is a really, really big one, just to like dust off the cobwebs and see which accommodations will still work for your child and which ones won't. Because if you need to make adjustments to their accommodations, the beginning of the school year is a great time to do that. So going over the accommodations, I would just sit down and have a conversation with your child and ask them if they remember if it worked. But before you start the accommodations conversation, I would actually start with why accommodations are important. And I would make sure that I cover these 3 things. Accommodations are in place to give you your time back. They are not cheating, and they are not giving you an advantage whatsoever. Accommodations are just allowing you to get your time back. And this is very important for a dyslexic to understand because a lot of dyslexics refuse to accept accommodations and have them in place because they feel like it's giving them the upper hand, which it's really not. It's just allowing us to get our time back. So an example of this would be when it comes to reading. So when we sit down and we read something, we can honestly read it and look up and not know a word we read. I still don't know how this happens. It still happens to me to this day, where I'm literally reading and I'm like, whoa, hold on, back up. I don't remember anything from the last 2 pages. And then that means I have to go back and I have to read again. And the reason most of the time that this does happen is we're so busy reading to decode and make sure we know what word is that we're not taking the time to comprehend it. We are reading to decode. Then we have to go back and read for comprehension once we figure out what those words are. So if you think about it, we have to read it twice to answer the same comprehension questions. So if we read it, which we're already slower readers, our friends, it could maybe take 20 minutes for them to read the passage. It's going to take us at least 25 minutes to read it to decode. Now we have to go back and read it to comprehend, which we'll say maybe another 20 minutes. So we're in the project for 45 minutes and we haven't even gotten to the comprehension questions where our friends read it and answered the comprehension questions, and they're maybe in the assignment for 25 minutes. So when you stop and kind of start to explain that the accommodations are put in place to give us our time back, if you use them, you're going to have less homework to bring home, you're going to have less things to do, and you'll be able to finish closer to when your classmates do. That really starts to change how your child looks at accommodations. So make sure that they are understanding accommodations and what accommodations they have in place before the school year starts. Tip number 4 is let your child know what exciting events are going to happen this school year. If there's a special field trip or class, something fun for that grade level. I know last year a lot of field trips didn't happen. I don't know if they're going to happen this year, but making sure that you stay up on their curriculum so you can let them know what is coming, because they do better not being surprised, but actually having a little advance warning of what is about to happen and what fun things and things they're going to be learning. So any and all advance warning and pre-teaching that you can do to help them is a great way to support them this school year and any school year. Tip number 5 is how to tell your teacher that your child is a dyslexic. I know that this can be overwhelming, and I know that some teachers totally understand dyslexia, and when you get one of those teachers, you've won the lottery. But other teachers don't even know what dyslexia is. They don't realize how many dyslexic students they have in the classroom, and that can be overwhelming. And so I am here to help with that. I have put together my best teaching tips, accommodations, and myths and facts about dyslexia, and I have it in a teacher dyslexia guide, and I'm going to link that below. I would love for you to go check it out. Not only that, there's also the About Me section. So when you introduce your child, you can introduce them in a positive light and they can see what they're good at, what they're not good at, and then you can list out your favorite accommodations. And this way, it just makes it easier for the teacher to get to know your child better and easier. So when you make a conference with them, you can take this information and give it to them. If they know about dyslexia, awesome. If they don't, this is so much easier than taking time, which they don't have when school starts, to read a huge book to understand dyslexia. This is very compact, easy to understand and use. So I hope you click the link below and check it out. That's all I have for you today. 5 tips to better support your dyslexic as they head back to school. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me a message or leave it in the comments because I check them regularly and I am here to help support you. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.